Hey, what's up, guys? This is Jaquel here on the Back to the Basics of Health and Wellness podcast. On today's podcast, I am really excited to introduce to you Miss D. Darla. She will be joining me on different episodes to discuss the issues that matter the most in regards to health and wellness. I met D. Darla back in 2017 while working at Green Acres Health Foods. I immediately knew that, I had a connection with her and she was a kindred spirit. She's a person with a great love for wellness, and we've been friends ever since. So without further ado, here's Miss D. Darla on the Back to the Basics of Health and Wellness podcast.
Daddy, it's time to start your podcast.
Today's episode of Back to the Basics of Health and Wellness podcast is brought to you in part by Ladybug Natural Solutions. Ladybug Natural Solutions is offering our listeners a free 30-minute health revelation consultation. To receive your free 30-minute consultation, head on over to www.ladybugnaturalsolutions.com and schedule your appointment today. Hey guys, welcome back to episode 6 of Back to the Basics of Health and Wellness. I have my great friend D. Darla on the line. Hey! And D. Darla is here to chop it up with me today. How you doing today, D. Darla?
I am great. I'm fantastic. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast today. I just love chopping it up about health, and I'm just ready to, mix it up with some arugula, some spring mix, and add a little bit of tomatoes.
There you go. Happy New Year to you. How's your 2020 going?
Oh, it is fantastic. I'm blessed and highly favored to even see it today. I'm so grateful. So it is going well, especially to be here today talking with you.
Great to hear. I know in the past we talked about some issues that plague women in America dealing with endometriosis, fibroid cyst, and we've talked hours about this conversation. So like what's some of the biggest things that you're hearing out there these days about these issues? Do you know anybody that's directly affected by them?
Definitely. I have a slew of people I know indirectly and directly that have been just affected by the things that we just discussed. But I know for sure with myself, I actually been, I'll start with me, but I actually been dealing with fibroids. And fibroids is a major issue within a woman's community. It's taken over everything.
Absolutely. And, how we talked about it before, it comes from the food that we're eating, that we're consuming, and that they're putting the chemical in, which is predominantly soy. Soy is one of the major contributors to, the estrogen in the body, and it's becoming a bad situation at this point, because if you look at any label these days, even liquids, it has soy in it, some type of soy in it. So, that's just mind-boggling at this point.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's so funny. My doctor also stated to me, stay away from plastic. I'm like, plastic? What would that have to do with anything? And he's like, oh, you can get plastic from the, drinking water from the bottle. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, wow, I had no idea. That was another indicator that they mentioned. I don't know if you're aware of that part, but I was just wanted to bring that into play. And then also dealing with a woman's cycle. They say fibroids also just love that time when a woman's on her cycle, that it just kind of just aids to it. I don't know if it helps it grow more or helps it exist more in your body, but those two additional indicators were mentioned to me.
Yeah. And going back to the plastic, BPA, the chemicals in BPA, those, they're saying plastic because the plastic leaches into the water. A lot of people don't really know, but there are triangles on the water these days. Well, it's always been on there. They're triangles and they have numbers in them, and those numbers represent if you can, drink out of a bottle continuously, or it's a one use type of situation. And most bottles are one use, but people tend to refill those bottles, and that plastic is leaching, and those chemicals are leaching into the water, and that's get into our system and cause and wreaking havoc in our systems. So that's why a lot of people went to the Yeti cups and went to the different metal cups and things like that to avoid those situations.
Oh wow! And you speaking about the arrows, you said they're like triangles or they're arrows.
It's a triangle. It's like a triangle, and they have like a number one in it, or it might has a number two, and it just has a different series of numbers. And each number, I actually posted it on Facebook and Instagram. If you guys want to follow me on Facebook and Instagram, I'm at Ladybug Natural Solutions. You can check that out. But I put that up before, and I got a lot of questions on that topic, and a lot of people didn't know it. So I make sure I do my just due to let people know about the plastics, and it's plastics everywhere. That's the thing. It's plastics everywhere. Your your copy machine, your TV has plastic, your carpet has plastic in it, your shoe, everything has plastic. So at some point, that could be leaching into your bloodstream and causing a little havoc.
Wow, that's amazing. Like I am floored just to know that these different things are causes for so many things that's happening in our bodies, especially with the fibroids. But so yeah, that's one of my major things. But other things out there right now that I've also heard about outside of myself was that people are dealing with endometriosis. And could you give me an idea of what that is? Because I was like, what is going on?
So yeah, so endometriosis again, it's due to estrogen dominance, and when the estrogen gets too high in the woman's body, it starts to cause the endometriosis. And endometriosis, from what I hear, causes a lot of pain in women during their menstrual cycle because of I believe it's the inflammation. That it's another thing. So yesterday I did well, not yesterday, but yeah, yesterday I did a podcast on curcumin and the role of curcumin in inflammation. So ladies, if you have endometriosis or if you have any type of high inflammation in your body, you should definitely be looking into the curcumin, which is extract of turmeric to help with the inflammation. But back to what we was talking about with the endometriosis is it's again it's from the inflammation, and it's from the estrogen, it's from the soy, it's from the what are you eating. So you have to be very careful about what you're eating. So the things that combat that estrogen and brings that estrogen down is cruciferous vegetables, or a supplement called indole 3 carbinol, which is asparagus, broccoli, a lot of different greens that's in that supplement, or you can eat the greens as well to get it. So always eating the greens is best, and then supplementation is second. So indole 3 carbinol, just to get back on it, helps drive down the estrogen. And from what I've seen in working at the health food store in my day, women have shrunk their they have shrunk the
Yes, that's
endometriosis by getting those foods in, the cruciferous vegetables in, and as well as taking the indole 3 carbinol.
Now, endometriosis, that affects what exactly? Does that affect the liver? Or because I'm thinking between fibroids being, you can shrink the fibroids too as well. But with endometriosis, isn't that affecting the liver more so, or no?
It sits over there, I believe. It sits near the liver, and or the fallopian tubes as well. And it's a disorder in which tissue similar to the tissue that normally lines the inside of the uterus, the endometriotum, well, no, I'm sorry, the endometrium,
Right.
and it grows outside, but it grows outside the uterus. So it's more or less
Okay.
near the uterus versus near the kidneys. That's what you said, the kidneys, correct?
Yeah, but
Yes,
then
yes, yes, yes.
okay. Interesting, interesting. I mean, honestly, all of this is just so fascinating. I always find that I'm out there like researching when someone tells me something is wrong. I'm like, okay, let me get on it, like a like a
Mhm.
mad scientist or a mad health scientist. I want to know what's happening with the body. I get so curious because I know that the body, basically, from my own personal research on things that were happening with my body with the fibroids. Um, I would do a lot of research on what is it? How do you get rid of it? What can you do to eat better? From that source to talking with you to really seeking out a lot of information.
Mhm.
So just what you're giving me from our chop it up talks is just really helpful.
Mhm.
So I totally appreciate you, and I hope everybody else who's listening appreciates you as well.
Great to
But
hear.
I wanted to know about this part too, and it's something else that haven't shared. It's a little more personal, and I know we talked about it. Um, but we know that a lot of people have been dealing with this particular issue, and I also have been dealing with this, and I do not share this with too many people, but I have been diagnosed with lupus, and I believe that was over about 20 years ago. And I'm not going to calculate the age when I say that
Mhm.
because I'm only 25 still. But anyway, no, let me stop. But no, honestly, with lupus, this was actually diagnosed as, because I know there was two forms, and it was one that's a DLE and one is FLE, and one is the DLE is what was diagnosed for me, which is discoid lupus. It affects your skin, it affects your scalp, it can affect your face,
Mhm.
and you can get like different rashes and things. But that's something out there that I've actually dealt with so many people close to me who have passed away, young, old alike. Just from that, and it's just devastating. So is that something that also we can also aid to that? I mean, what do you think about that? This particular issue that's out there today.
So with lupus, I see that as a uh, it's a disease where, like all diseases, you're not meeting your requirement with your nutrition. So for me, DHEA is a great help. You can find that at your local health food store, and you can go to Nordic Naturals. They sell DHEA, and along with Chinese medicine as well, can definitely help with the symptoms of lupus, because lupus is one of those things where, let me break down lupus real quick. So, lupus is a chronic autoimmune condition that can cause inflammation throughout the body. And again, here we go. Mostly everything that we're talking about tonight is due to inflammation, high inflammation. We have to get the inflammation down. We have to stop eating foods that's causing the inflammation. But, it tends to primarily be localized condition. So it's not always systemic at the end of the day. But it's an autoimmune disease. An autoimmune disease is a condition in which your body own immune system is responsible for the inflammation and the breakdown of its own cells. So that's where the primary cause of lupus is comes from. It comes from inflammation. Some of the symptoms of lupus are, some joint problems, skin problems, heart issues, lung issues, and some kidney issues as well. Some symptoms vary and depending on the individual, and they may be permanent, they may disappear suddenly, or they may have flare ups. Although there are no two cases of lupus are the same, most common symptoms and signs include high fever, fatigue, body aches, joint pain, and shortness of breath. Do you deal with any of those type of issues at this current time, or are you like, do you have flare ups, or is it permanent? How does your lupus act or react to you?
Well, basically, for me, those symptoms definitely sound familiar from people I know that definitely have passed from this ease. But I personally deal with the flare ups. It can be joint pain. I feel like, and when I say joint pain, that's because I read up on that the DLE. 10% of people who have DLE, which is the discoid lupus, which affects their skin, can also turn into SLE, systematic lupus, as well, where it can also affect other parts internally.
Hmm.
And so I feel like I have some joint pain sometimes, and that's something just very new. So mostly, I've actually had just flare ups with the skin to my scalp. I've had other people I know of it who have flare ups from their face and they get the butterfly, but I haven't had that. So, you just gotta take what it comes with in your body. But
Absolutely.
I have to say, I have been really, really blessed to not see a lot of damage being done elsewhere. But I definitely see a large portion of it being happening in my scalp. And, I just try to keep a really good attitude and a really positive attitude, like to have a good time, have fun, and release stress, because that's another, I think, to me, stress. And that's something I want to like merge into talking to you about as well, about stress.
Hmm.
But I think that stress also can, play a big factor in it as well.
Okay.
Um, yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, and then I spoke about DHEA, and that's a natural hormone that is available as a dietary supplement, and low levels are associated with some diseases, but taking it as a supplement increases its levels in your body. So that's going to help with the skin flare ups. Fish oil is going to help with the skin flare ups. Taking indole 3 carbinol is going to help with the hormones and getting the hormones back in order. Because of the testosterone and the estrogen. The estrogen is higher. It pretty much helps out with the balancing of your of the ladies' hormones, of the women's hormones.
Wow, that's interesting because I never heard of that before. So that's really brand new info, and I would definitely, I want to do some research on that.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. That's what I'm
thank
here for. I'm
you.
here to give out some information. I'm glad that you're here to chop it up with me today. And guys, D Darla will be back. She's going to be a co-host of mine, and we're going to do some podcasting together. And we're going to be coming, and she's going to be asking those questions, and I'm gonna be asking her questions too because she got some information for me. D Darla, yeah. So she's in the field, and she talks. Into the health and wellness, and I met her at the health food store when I used to work at Green Acres over in Piscataway, New Jersey. She used to be a frequent flyer in there, and we got to know each other, and we ended up creating a great friendship. And we're here today talking to you on the podcast. Here we go.
Yes. Although I want to say thank you so much for having me here. And it was so much fun as usual, just talking with you, chopping it up, adding a mix. And next time we're going to put some dressing on top of all of our, arugula and tomatoes. And
You
maybe
got it.
some
You got it.
avocado because I love that too.
There you
So,
go.
but I want to say thank you.
You're very, very
It was so
welcome. Hey, D Darla, let the people know how to reach you and how to get in contact with. If they have some questions for you, of what you've been through and how you're dealing with it, and the things that you have to offer as well.
Absolutely. Actually, on my IG, you can actually reach me at d.darla. That's my IG handle. But I definitely have a page on Facebook where you guys can reach me. It's called Make a Healthy Choice. And I tend to put a lot of information on that page. So, I really have to zhuzh it up a little bit more, get some more information out there for people. Just, it's very informative. And I like to let people, read what's out there. When I come across something, they will have it. So you definitely can reach me at those two handles. I am on Facebook as well, but I'm actually need to, correlate my social media handle. So that's going to be updated soon. But on Facebook, it is Darla 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 DEE. So
She over here
yeah,
confusing y'all, but we gonna get it together. They
that's
gonna
what
be
I
y'all.
am.
Y'all can reach her. Y'all can reach her. She's out there. That's what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool, cool, cool. So I thank you for coming on. I appreciate you, guys. We just chopped it up with with Jaquel and Darla D Darla in the house, and we'll be coming back to you again, having those great conversations and chopping it up. I'd like to thank you guys for listening, and I will talk to you soon. Have a great one. Hey guys, I want to thank you for listening to today's episode. Going over to www.ladybugnatural or follow us on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter for more information and to schedule your free 30-minute consultation. If you guys can share the podcast or tell a friend about it, that would be greatly appreciated. Until next week, enjoy, be well, and make a lifestyle change that lasts. Have a great one, everyone.